50th birthday like my mom and stuff, because so I had to take out some of the old stuff and add the new.
I didn't know you were a SpongeBob enthusiast. That's news.
What is up, dogs?
Yo.
that John's new. It's still a work in progress, but we've been doing these business spotlight editions in the off season of Philthy and Philly podcast. So y'all are overdue because today we have Philly sports trips, and we're here to answer any questions you got about all the trips, the Brazil trip. I encourage anybody who is listening to sign up for the Philly Sports Trips email blast because that thing is underrated, yo. Especially Brazil and all the trips and the Gargano travel too. And then you can message us as well. And we'll get you in the right hands. But let's get right into it, yo. BG, you reported it first, Vince. BG. One more year.
Another year. Thank God we got some good news after a lot of loss.
Yeah.
The Dollar Dogs and Kelsey, we needed something good, right?
It was depressing.
I actually, the funny thing is, Brandon Graham is a good buddy of mine. And we talking about Brandon Graham, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was talking to him. I was speaking with him last night, and he was saying how he was going to do his farewell fan tour. And we were just basically chopping it up about about the longevity and what it takes to stay in the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs of things. And I told him, and I mentioned your name, Vince. I told him that once he gets done, that he needs to step onto the tailgate and travel side of things. And we need to do me and him was talking about doing like a little bit of a show. And he's like, I love BG. That I was when I first came back, he was one of the first guys that kind of not so much took me under his wing or anything, but he was I like a lot of the guys. And if you guys watch me and Irvin show Vetted, me and Irv talked about when you go up to a younger guy and you speak to them and stuff, how a lot of them have the respect because they know what it takes to be on this level. But some guys, even after they're done, they still have that notion. Like Freddie Mitchell, Fred X is my boy, but Fred X just put out a video talking about he's over not getting targeted in the Super Bowl 20 years ago. I'm like, but in any event, it was talking to BG and him he's a respectful guy, and I think he's gonna have some fun with it because now people, not only just people, but the NFL and the Players Association side are taking the steps to help guys transition into life after football when the crowd stops cheering. And it's like, I think that's an important part of this. And with Vince, that's why I'm glad that Vince was always, like, anytime I introduce anybody to Vince, he's always willing to bring them around and stuff. Because I think the guys need to see this side of football to know, you got to know where your bread's buttered. As like, and know that if you don't act like a jerk, people, and you play decently, people are still receptive to you and want to hear some of your stories because we don't realize that like, being the way we've been, like we've always been coveted playing football. When you play football, it's like you guys have played sports before. They always covered you until you can't play anymore. I was like, but we've been covered all the way up to here, and to know that all you have to do is be kind, and people want to hear your stories because a lot of people didn't make it to the level that you made it at, and just don't be a dick. Come on.
Yeah, you had tremendous success with radio and your show with Irvin, and Fred X is in Philly radio, and BG's always calling in up there. I'm sure Kels will get some stuff going. But I'll ask you both this. Like, first, Vince, what was your first trip? And then a follow-up to that, when did you decide to do it full time?
That's a great question.
And then after that, Hollis, I'll have when you joined on too.
Yeah, I have a story that you made me think of Hollis. It was about meeting Hollis and about like working with the players, but I'll save that till after Hollis goes. I actually ran a bus trip with a friend of mine about 10 years ago. It was not a Philly sports trip. It was 100 guys, 100 dudes on a bus. No female would come anywhere close to that trip. It was a different world. People brought their own handles of liquor. Definitely not as classy as the events we have now. The food wasn't as good. It was really a bunch of guys that were going down to Washington, right? So we did that every year, about 2 or 3 years in a row. And I said, it'd be nice to have some girls around here. It'd be cool to, up the ante here and make this a little bit better. So my wife was always telling me, girlfriend at the time, Vince, you have these great ideas, these business ideas. Why don't you just do one? I'm sick and tired of hearing your ideas. Pick one. So I wrote 3 business plans down. I still don't remember the other 2 about 7-8 years ago. And Philly Sports Trips became the one that I circled. I called a friend of mine who's now our VP of marketing. His name's George. This was his first week full time, but he built our website and our logo 7-8 years ago. So our first trip ever, our first event ever, was the NFL draft in Philadelphia. So we were going around handing out flyers for Philly Sports Trips, but we had never done a trip. Our very first trip was week 1, Carson Wentz at Washington, 2017, the Super Bowl year. So we did a trip that game. We did the Nick Foles game later in the year, the New York bus trip. So year 1 was just 2 bus trips. They won the Super Bowl, and the rest is history.
Vince, what's cracking me up about that story and why I'm smiling is when Phil and I started this page, it was pretty much on the same circumstance. My wife now, girlfriend at the time, is like, you need to stop posting about the Eagles and the Flyers and the Phillies on Facebook. Like, you need your own thing.
Yeah.
And Phil and I have been going to games forever. And it was kind of like, hey, we should just make a place where we can just talk. And then we had 2 videos go viral on the Super Bowl run. And then that's sort of where we started saying, we'll do this as like a part-time fun thing. But
at least we both started before the Super Bowl run.
Yeah, we both.
That proves that we're legit.
So when did you join up with it?
Well, when I first stopped playing, I lived in Vegas for a year, and then you went to ESPN, and Andy Bloom asked me if I would like to come and do WIP full time, and I was like, cool. So then I moved back here, was doing WIP for a little bit, and then that Super Bowl run thing. Actually, the funniest thing was my very first time, like being at the tailgates and stuff, like totally immersed in the tailgates, was when we played against the Rams out there, because I got to go to. It was before Carson got hurt though, and I had lunch with the team, and that was when Hank Baskins had that show with Kendra, and the episode came out where he cheated on her with a trans woman. Pause. And so he was so they had an alumni day for their Friday practice. So myself and a bunch of guys who lived out there, Hank was out there. And that question was looming in my head, but I had lunch with ended up having an In-N-Out burger with Nick Foles, because I wanted at that time Nick had just came back, and remember he had the nice run with goofy ass Chip Kelly, and then Chip Kelly trades him for Sammy Sleeves and a whole bunch of other mess, and a catastrophic event just started transpiring. But Jeff Fisher was also known as the quarterback killer. And I sat down and I wanted to talk to him, and I asked him about, because my thing was everybody, Jeff Fisher's an asshole. And I just wanted to hear straight from Nick Foles. And he basically confirmed it. He wouldn't say it because he's a man of God and stuff, and he said he doesn't curse. I said, you don't have to say it, just a smirk or a smile. And he started laughing. So, but in that time over there, just sitting there talking to him and talking about his journey away from football and back to football, and we did WIP. We did the morning show. The entire morning show was out there, and we was on the pier. We took the pier. We had In-N-Out Burger. It was like 2,500 people. I'm not mentioning the other company that brought us out there that got me started with this. But but then we did that trip. But then after we won the Super Bowl, I said that Nick was going to win the Super Bowl once when Carson Wentz got hurt out there because everybody was all sad and stuff. I was like, what do you think? I was like, we got a whole team. I felt like Malcolm Jenkins in the locker room. But it's a whole other story. But then the next season, I was still with WIP when the London trip. See, when we went on the London trip, the guy who I won't mention, he noticed how the fans enjoyed my savoir faire around the tailgate and stuff, and the high fives and the drinks and the shots and stuff, and I was just having a tremendous time. And so he just carved a niche in there, and that's why I started. But then I don't remember meeting Vince, but he said I met him in Denver when I was signing some of his people. He did a trip to Denver, Nick Sirianni's first year.
Yep.
And I took a picture with them, and some other things happened. And so then what ended up transpiring, how I got to Philly Sports Trips was my girl Kristen down in Arizona. She posted a party he was having for the Arizona game, and she asked me, was I coming? I was like, well, do you have some work for me? Because I've been knowing Chris forever. I said, you have some work for me? And she said, let me put you in touch with the guy who's running it. And she put me in touch with Vince. We met. Vincent thought I was going to have him killed, but because actually, in his defense, we met down at the Reading terminal. Now, my buddy, I'm a security guy. My buddy, security guy, is 6'7", Keith Glover. So he said he walked up to Vince, was like, "You here to see Hollis?" And so Vince was like, "Oh my God." But then we ended up having lunch and stuff, and then I was already, by the time I got to Vince, I was already well seasoned at doing it. But the first time that I really started doing it was the London trip, and I never knew, as a player, never knew that you guys be having that much damn fun out there. That's like, as a player, you don't get to see that. All we get to do, we see y'all partying. We get it. We ride the bus into the away game stadiums, and all we see, sometimes it gets pelted with some stuff from opposing people, but then we see our sea of green, and we hear the cheers and stuff. Hey, it energizes us, and we hear that EAGLS in the opposing team stadium over everybody, and we know the takeover is real. But the main thing but Vince, I honed my skills in better once I got with Philly Sports Trips, because it was more of a class. I'm just going to say it was classier. And a lot of the people who came with me from the competitor, they come with me, and I think they said it was mainly because the hospitality. And then when you go with Philly Sports Trips, you're gonna we care about what you think and how we treat you, because you get what you pay for. It's like we're not gonna be sending you emails telling you read your email. We're not gonna be cursing you out or anything. And if something goes wrong, I could guarantee you, I've been with Vince. This is the third year going on.
Yeah.
It's going on the third year, and if something goes wrong, he is going to try to fix it. And even if it's not his fault, he's going to try to fix it. The other part too is we've only banned one person, and that's from the Super Bowl. But it's just like we banned one person.
It was during the Super Bowl.
It wasn't Phil?
No,
we won't say his name. But Hollis, 2 years ago, it was almost 2 years ago that we talked. Right. The first Eagle I had ever talked to, for business, was a gentleman, Seth Joyner, and we had an hour phone call talking about Arizona. I get off the call, tell my wife, I just talked to Seth Joyner. It was awesome. Go back to work, living a little bit, pep in my step. 30 minutes later, I get a call, and it says Hollis Thomas. And I'm like, what is going on? So I answer, and, he told the story about when we met. I thought it was possible that there was a hit on me from a competitor, and Hollis was going to take me out.
The hit.
It turned out that Hollis was completely unexpected. I loved him as a player. I knew he was a great person. But, man, this guy just loves the fans and loves to give back, and is just such a caring person. And what I learned through this experience is, there's no other Hollises out there, but there's a lot of players that like to be with the fans and enjoy that. And through Hollis, I think 15, 16, 17 different players now have come to our events and met the fans. So it's exciting. But yeah, you just realize they're people. BG's, he's a person, and I understand that it can be really tough to leave the game, where we as fans are just cheering our heads off all day, every day, and then they're done. And I know every player takes a little bit differently. So I feel like a responsibility for all of us, the four of us, is like giving that back to the players and like giving them that love. And then when they retire, bringing them into the family. So
everyone, let's keep having a good time playing, having a good time doing some events and stuff with you.
Yeah.
And speaking of a good time, Hollis,
Yeah.
how do you think the Brazilian mamas are going to treat you down there? The ladies down there. What do you think about the ladies in Brazil?
Well, I've never been to Brazil. I've been to the Dominican. I've met some women from Brazil. I've been to Costa Rica and all that. And the consensus is that the women, they say that the women will love me. And I wait this. It's like I told Vince that I had this. I have to look it up through my notebook here. So I had a couple of weeks ago on Vetted. I do history with Hollis, sponsored by Philly Sports Trips. So we have one of the particular. Here it was. Charles Darwin. He took a trip to Brazil, and after going through all the jungles and seeing all the beaches, he said it was a transport of pleasure. So I'm looking again. He said that in 1832. Actually,
I'm keeping that out of my biology lesson, Hollis.
Yeah, it was February the 29th on leap year. He said this.
Wow.
So it's like on leap year, February 29th, 1832. He said it was a transport of pleasure. So I'm looking for the transport of pleasure in Brazil this time, because I think I've looked at some of the trips that we're doing Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
Sure.
Is it Sao Paulo or Sao Paulo?
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo. Okay, cool.
You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the emails I was talking to you about.
Oh yeah.
But they're so informative. And I'm gonna pull up the website here too, just to check it out. But we have more questions too. We're gonna talk. I
saw one already from Delco Jesus. He wants to know when I'll be back at I tell PJ I got to get with PJ. I'll be back over there soon. I probably will be back over there for the wiffle ball thing. I know everybody's familiar with Delco over there. I used to live in Delco. right around the corner from Nifty 50s.
Shout out to Dolan's. We love Dolan's Bar.
PJ.
So Dolan's is. I need to get to Dolan's. I need to do the Dolan's Day. I need to do the parade. I need to do all that. That looks like a good time.
Day, yeah. It's
Delco Day. Yeah.
Delco in South Jersey meet. That's a problem.
It's gonna be a problem. But this all just dropped yesterday.
Yeah,
and
man.
it's super interactive as far as key information, passports, and then
check out that.
Like I said, we'll get to your comments, guys, and we'll do I have a couple of questions too. Free agency, we'll get some Eagles chatter too. But I do want to, for the people that have questions, I do want to touch on some of this too, Vince. If you could take us through it a little bit.
Yeah, click the accommodations real quick, because that's a big deal. We just got back from Brazil this week. I miss it already. And there's a lot of great places there. But you have to be careful of where you stay. And we pick the best places, the most beautiful places, the safest places. That tower that you see is our hotel. So you're going to see there's the pool and there's the private beach right there. So this is a beautiful 5-star hotel. Breakfast is included. There's multiple restaurants. Lots of bars. I told them there's only 2 or 3 pool bars. We might need to build another one. And they said no problem. And then the second one, this was something really different. We went and saw 9 different hotels in Sao Paulo in one day. And then someone told us about this resort that was only an hour outside the city, and it's all inclusive. So, instead of staying in the busy city with traffic and noise, Sao Paulo is essentially New York City. there's nothing crazy special about it. I mean, there's great restaurants and like any city, but we just thought this was a better vibe. So 4 days by the beach, 3 days by the lake and the pool. It's a real vacation. And then obviously we get to go to the game. So I think this is the most important piece. There's tons of great tours. There's some stuff that's not on here yet that we're going to add later. Different add-ons, helicopter tours, stadium tours. There's a beautiful soccer stadium nearby, and there's actually a game that we're working on now to get some people to a game.
Is there any history? Is there any museums, anything?
There's a ton of that, Hollis. I didn't have with 2 days. We didn't have a chance to check that out, but now we can do the research. Whenever we do a trip, Hollis is really big on the history. I know the World War I Museum in Kansas City and stuff like that. So that's the beauty is like we have almost 6 months still to figure this all out, but the core of this trip is there. The food is incredible. We have a really great restaurant. Go to overview real quick. I want to see the one picture.
Yeah, and I want to say the direct flights. It's really hard to get down there, and you know how unreliable flights and stuff are nowadays.
Yeah, so we have
that's
the
amazing
only direct flight from Philadelphia to Brazil and back. So that's all I can say officially right now. But we have the only direct flight.
That's a game changer right there.
Yeah. It's a beautiful place. I mean, we're going to have a great welcome party. We're going to have a party on the beach. There's a couple days where you might have to buy a meal or two, but of 21 meals, maybe 16 are included. It's as close to all-inclusive as it can get. But, at the end of the day, Brazil is there. It's a 7-night trip. It's the home opener in Brazil. But not everyone's going to be there, right? It's there's people have weddings, people have time off from work that they can't handle. There's another 7 or 8 away games this year that we can talk about. But for anyone that's ready to go, we'll be there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's crazy ones. Other than Brazil, like both of you guys, what are you guys most excited to
New Orleans.
do?
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right, besides New Orleans, though, what else we got?
Well, LA and Tampa again, which it's
Tampa's
great because we just did them last year. People love those two places, but not everyone got to go. So that's the beauty. I mean, it's like Dallas with you guys this year. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That was the first time that I did the Dallas on that end. The way from where you guys did it, where we did it at this past season. Yeah, that was awesome. I did it in the past. And I didn't like the fact that other time that we did it with all those we was like 1,500 of us, but it was like about 4,000 Cowboy fans.
Ooh.
And they had the nerve to talk trash the entire time on the microphone with Diamond Dallas Page, the wrestler, and then Diamond Dallas gave me the microphone. What the hell did you think I was going to do?
Don't give him the microphone around the Dallas fans.
I did. No, I lit them up. and you can hear, and even though it was more Dallas fans there than us, my Eagle brethren, they strictly represented. We were louder than anybody there.
Well, one other thing, Phil and Vic, we met through when we were starting to plan the Washington takeover. Remember that one where we got 1,000 fans to go to Washington on the bus trip?
Yes.
Well, we have another big bus trip this year that I didn't mention yet, which is the Baltimore. We play Ravens this year. So that
we're doing that because we're checking off each city one by one. In the AFC, you only get a crack at every 4 years or something.
Every 3 or 4 years. It actually depends too. Go ahead, Vince. You know better than me. It's like the schedule is like, and I learned this part from Vince too. It's on a 3 or 4 year rotation. But I also know that if you win your division, you're actually gonna play the winner of all the divisions. So
sure.
So that's how you look at it. And when I look back at some of the games that I played, and I was like, man, I never really got to go. Wait a minute. I played in Kansas City twice. I played Kansas City at home, but they came and throttled us, and then I played there twice, but we went and throttled them twice at their home. That's where I learned. There's a timeout, and the whole fans like, where on the field? was like, that was in Kansas City. It was funny as hell though. So, but Kansas City is a great place to go, mainly because of the barbecue and some of the things.
We'll be back next
like,
season, Hollis.
Okay.
Yeah, 2025.
And I love going to Tampa as well. And LA is always fun. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of the trips, especially like when I went to the Dallas trip with Philly Sports Trips this time because I didn't go the last time with them. It was a great trip, and we had a great time all the way up until the damn game.
Yeah. That's for sure.
It was like everybody's like, because you knew it was a good trip except for the game, because nobody was like it was sometimes when you go, you get your ass kicked in that fashion, and the trip sucked too. You could tell, you could feel it on the bus and stuff, but everybody was just kind of content. It was like, well, okay, you know.
We had that was the most fun I ever had,
exactly.
And we didn't even win the game.
Yeah.
We didn't even win the game, and I got lost. So I was always thinking about, hey, I can't get lost in Brazil. We were traveling deep in Dallas. You got to travel deep.
I thought about you guys when I picked these places. I was like, we can't do them anywhere they can get lost. If you get lost, it's just because you swam too far out to sea.
Yeah.
So
I just Irish, I think. I was like, I just went back home.
No jungle excursions.
But you got your transportation included in all this, so that's a big thing too. The connectors and stuff like that. Like I think I was out and I was just wandering on my own. That was the only time I had to take a Uber, and that's how I got lost. Other than that, the transportation is included, so I don't know how I drifted away from that. But
we gotta give you a buddy.
I got the lanyards on.
Yeah, we're chipping him.
Yeah,
we're gonna chip him.
Yeah, you might want to put it in his ear because something tells me he's gonna put the lanyard down to take a whiz or something, and then he's gonna leave it. We're gonna be looking for him. We're gonna find it in the stall of a bathroom.
So
yeah,
go ahead.
One sec, Phil. I just want to jump in for a sec. I want to say from a value perspective, I don't know if any fans that are listening or watching this have ever tried to put their own trip together. By the time you book your flight, set your lodging up, put your ticket on, pay for food the whole time, everything like that, the value is absolutely there, like from a consumer perspective. Because Phil and I started doing this, hey, we're going to go to one away game a year thing, maybe like 2 or 3 years before we met. And I kept telling Phil, like when we were in Dallas with you guys, like, this is the not only is this a blast because you're with a huge group, but there's an absolute value to the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a credit to you, Vince, for the places that you book and the deals that you make. And then talking about the players getting to see us party. When we talked to Carell Buckhalter at the restaurant, he's like, "Man, this is so awesome how you guys do this." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess."
Well, yeah, but the one thing, Vic, that a lot of people like too is when you're going on an away trip, you want to be with like-minded individuals, because a lot of times, and I thought of this when I was doing it. It was like my family kind of traveled. My mom and dad, they traveled to pretty much every game, and I know they're fighters. So, so it's like, and then when you're in enemy territory, you worried about your people. But this way, you go and you see like-minded people there, and you get to have a good time and a great experience. Yeah. And it's you're less likely to run into, when there's a group of you, you're less likely to run in trouble.
Yeah. When we lost Phil, I had a blast with you and the 4th and John boys.
Yeah, that's true. You know.
I mean, the beauty of the travel too is we just meet so many amazing fans. And sometimes it is at the tailgate, we just do the tailgate part and people come and they meet us, they meet the group, and then in the future they'll travel with us. But if you're traveling alone or you're traveling, want to travel with a group, we're very open-minded. We're always, open arms. If you two are going to do your own thing in LA, it's a welcoming group of people, and we're always here for any fan.
And then the beauty about Philly Sports Trips, like if you don't travel with us, you can still at a certain point you can still buy portions of the package where you come to some of our events, you pay to come to some of the events, or pay for the tailgate and the tickets, because some people want to travel on their own, and and they can't go the times that we go, but we do a lot of it's a lot of things to accommodate the people. And then the one thing that's the one thing that I love about Philly sports trips is it's an accommodation of the people. All the people who traveled with me when I was with the competitor, they love Vince and they love the way he does things. And
the ticket option's great too because they can do it through you. They could do it on their own. Like just for Brazil specifically, all of them, most of them include tickets on the full trip. But Brazil, like when we went to London, Wembley was so big. Same thing with like a soccer stadium.
Right.
I think that was my favorite part of the trip, that it was actually left out and people can kind of pick and choose. They could do it with you. They could sit upper. They could sit lower. They could do whatever. Wait it out. Yep. I know, like my boy, me and Nady be waiting like 10 minutes before kickoff, and we'll be like sitting next to like
I'll be sweating, like, come on. That just
for Brazil, we're telling everyone to wait for the tickets. We have so many connections we made, and it could be where we get great seats and we can put everyone together. So we just said, hey guys, let's wait for Brazil. It's a big stadium there.
Now my some of my people who follow me let me know that for the Brazil game, for the people who are season ticket holders, the Eagles have refunded them $63.
Really?
I guess the tickets are going to be $63 then. That's a good inside info.
No, hold on. It's like, so hold on. I got to find it. I had to find the thing because it was like, hold on.
Not everyone's happy about Brazil.
No, they're not. No, they're not happy about the $63 because they say they're treating it like a preseason game. It's a regular season game, so it's like. So I was like, wait a minute, because a friend of mine, she's actually going to be out there too. Her name is Wendy. She's like, these MFers have given me $63 back. Talk about it's for the one home game that we're losing because of Brazil trip. She's like, they know damn well that. That's like, yeah, I know. It's like for the price. It says, here you go. The ticket. Okay, here it is. They got to pay for the ticket and the licensing of the seat still.
Oh wow!
And but they only gave them $63 back, but they didn't give them the part back with the licensing of the seat. And
I think that's with the odd amount of games, but I think they are going to raise it to 18, and then that will kind of work itself out. But now it's like every other year we get the extra home game, so I think the Eagles are like considered the home team. But hey, it doesn't matter when you're going, right?
But it's like, but it's not doesn't matter where you're going. But it's like still the other people they don't get to. She just sees the
experience it. Yeah.
No, she's going to Brazil, but they gave her but she doesn't get the season ticket thing in Brazil. That's why she's pissed off.
Gotcha.
So she's going to Brazil, and she had already. She when they first said
get her a free ticket, Hollis.
I tell Wendy. It was funny too because she was like $63, and I told her I was like, I just saw a news story about this that for your credit card that they give you, it's only going to be a flat $8 fee for everything, so people can let their credit card bills lapse. You don't want to do that because it's going to mess with your credit, but you don't get charged an astronomical amount of fees. So I was like, maybe they're just giving you the $8 back like that. It's $63, but it was pretty. I thought it was pretty funny though. And I was like, wait a minute, $63. I know each ticket, if you're a season ticket holder, is $95+, and it depends on where you're sitting. But they're counted as a preseason game.
Well, speaking of mad fees, the Eagles got mad money this year. What do you think they're gonna do?
Oh, you think you're talking about my wish list? My wish list.
Wins, losses. They're gonna spend crazy.
Well, I think.
What do you think?
I think the elephant in the room is we need a middle linebacker. We need a quarterback of the defense, and I feel like we need another safety and another corner. But I think the corner I think they may go after is either Ladarius Sneed or Patrick Surtain. Ladarius Sneed has gotten permission to seek a trade, and I feel like I was like Bradbury doesn't want to be here. I don't want him here either. But I feel like, and then I think we're going to get a linebacker in free agency. But I think we're also going to get somebody young. They interviewed Edric Cooper and Trotter Jr. Whoever's there in the second round, when we get our second round pick, I think that they just go after one of those guys because we're going to need some guy who's to lead the team after whoever we get in free agency. But I think that my main thing is shoring up the defense.
They said Bryce Huff today from the Jets. You see that?
Ooh, who said that?
Airport Johnny Clark.
Airport Johnny Clark said that. I don't know. I think he's going to command a lot of money. Even though we do have a lot of money, I don't know if he's a Vic Fangio guy. I have to see if he's that type of guy. Because Vic Fangio's, a lot of people don't know he's that type of guy who's playing chess instead of checkers with the defense. I got an opportunity to meet him firsthand a few times, and the funniest thing was when I first met him, he knew exactly who I was and exactly how many years I played and exactly what I did. And then I saw his breakdown of things, and it reminded me of Jim Johnson, the way he breaks things down. I was like, you want coaches like that. I think that's what this young team has been missing, is people to not even just hold them accountable. A lot of people was talking about Vic Fangio last year. The people with the Dolphins were kind of mad. I was like, you're mad because somebody's holding you accountable for your job. A lot of people don't like my boy Angelo Cataldi. You know why they don't like that? Some of the people around Angelo didn't like him because he held them accountable for their job.
He told the truth.
Yeah, he told the truth. I was like, why don't people? He's like, I would be in some of the meetings, and they would have some of the salespeople in there and marketing people, and he would be, he was telling them, asking them to do something. He's like, oh, don't be mad because I'm asking you to do your job. You're in charge of sales. Give me something to sell. So, but that's the one thing that that they were saying about Eric Bieniemy as well. They down in Washington. Let's see,
hard on him.
Well, yeah, but you're losing. So apparently, the way you were doing it wasn't working. So, but I think, but
you need some tough love.
Well, yeah, and then talking to some of the guys too, that was they didn't believe in what they were doing. When you see a team, one of the old coaches, he was a high school coach, and I say that to preface it because he said, "What's the likelihood that you would get like talk about me? Why that I believe so much in the Jim Johnson defense is because he got me to believe. It's like, and if you don't hit the line like you believe, then the other team is going to know something up, and they're going to mess up whatever you're trying to do. It's like, so you have to fully believe that you're going to come free. If you don't, the saying I have is, "He who hesitates masturbates," and it'll show up on film. It's like a stutter step. You don't need any stutter steps in what you do. The teams that believe, you see the teams that believe when they be hitting the line of scrimmage and it feels like the quarterback is under duress. That's because they believe that they're going to come free. If you hit the line like you believe you're going to come free, when you do come free, it's not a surprise. So that's why I feel like Vic Fangio will be good, especially for the young guys we get, and we need to build a young core. We still need a couple of wily vets, but we need to build a young core, and I think Vic Fangio is the guy to do it, and I think the offense will take care of itself. Our offense, all we need right now is to pick who we're gonna have at running back. We need to put Cam. Ryan Cam, because I think Cam is he's not the second coming of. He doesn't have to be Jason Kelsey. Just be a little bit of Kelsey. Be yourself, but be a little bit of Kelsey. But we lost a lot, and I know one of your questions was what did I think about Kelsey. I think Kelsey left because my personal thought about Kelsey leaving was that he didn't want to have to go through another. It's not a total rebuild, but he didn't want to have to go through another offense coordinator, not knowing what he's thinking and what he's getting into. It's a lot to put on his body for them to do that, and it was just like he's got a couple of kids growing up and stuff. I think he wants to see them grow up and stuff to kind of be around a little bit. And,
do you know him at all or meet him or?
I know Kelsey. I know.
Yeah.
Well, they allow us to be around the team and stuff. I go to practices and stuff, and I pretty much know. I know Kelsey. BG. I hang out with the Nicole Dean on occasions, and I'm afforded to hang out with the people with the players a little bit more than a lot of other people. But I just kind of listen to them, and they just when they pick your brain and stuff. I don't like to be around too much because I don't want to steal their thunder. Put it that way. I was like, the focus should be on them. And when they allow me to come around, I come around, slap high fives and stuff. Stout guy. Stoutland is my man's 100 grand. I love the guy. I love the way he coaches the offensive line, man. It's like it reminded me. We had another before they made Juan Castillas the defense coordinator. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. He's a really good offensive line coach too.
Sure.
Juan Castillas is, but it's like Stoutland. He puts you through that university, and he's more meticulous in what he does. I don't know if you guys watched the combine when he's putting the guys through what they were doing. It was tremendous, man. He's like you. That's why you love to watch the offensive defensive linemen work. That's what we do. That's what when you look at the best teams, they have great offensive and defensive line, and we've been able to do that. I got to go over there and meet Clint, the new defensive line coach.
Oh yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's not bigger than me, but you know.
Really, the pictures say otherwise.
Well, yeah, but you got to see us up close and personal.
You got. That's why you got to come out. Vince, what do you think about Kelsey and the impact of the team and what he meant to the Eagles and wins and losses? I think the Eagles are going to do great this year. I mean, even though it didn't end the way we wanted, they won 11 games or so and didn't even win the division. I think they'll be right up there again. And I just want Vince too to touch on his win-loss early odds and to a little bit on Kelsey too, if you can.
Well, we were in Brazil, we got the breaking news about Kelsey retiring, and it was like in the middle of everything with the tours and the hotels. And so when we got back to the hotel, I kind of went to bed a little early, put on the speech and listened to it. I haven't cried yet. Okay. Not yet. I mean, maybe I could at some point, but the way I feel is he just is someone that gets it. And he used his love for the game to connect with the fans and their love for the team, right? So I think he truly loves the city, he truly loves the fans, but he loves football. And I think he loved his brothers, and I think that he went to war every day. So I think he's an inspirational person. I still remember being at the parade, and like he started yelling, and you couldn't even understand what he was saying. I'm like, what is Jason Kelsey doing? He's embarrassing himself, because I couldn't hear it from where we were, right? And then I listened to that, and I'm like, wow, that I was there for one of the best speeches ever.
And you couldn't hear it.
Couldn't understand what he was saying. But yeah, I'm completely impressed. I'm proud of the guy. I think he's a family man. He's a father of 3 girls. I'm a father of 2 girls. So we're hoping to get in touch with him, because him and Travis, like, they talk about the touring the stadiums and tailgates, and so one day we'd love to host him for an event. Him and Hollis do a Q&A for the fans. So I look to him as someone I love, who just left everything on the field. He helped us win that Super Bowl, but I also believe he did the right thing. He was starting to feel a lot of pain. They said that later in the week he was sore, when seasons before he wasn't. Mm-hmm. So I watched the documentary too. He's ready. He was ready, man. He's ready for the next chapter. But at the same time, I think he wishes he could play another 5 years. I think he chose family over football, and I feel like that was the right choice.
You got to come down to Seattle too. We'll catch him all. When I get the intel, where I know the event that he does is bananas, and then he's just in general, he's just around all the time. He pops in the liquor store and stuff and run into him at kicks or whatever. Travis.
And then the BG tour, because that's last tour, farewell tour this year, because I think that should be the theme. We got another incredible player that sounds like it could be his last year, most likely.
Yeah, well,
I think it doesn't matter, guys, what the record is. If it's 10, 11, 12 wins, I think they're going to be a better team than they were last year.
Yeah,
because last year the record didn't tell you what the team was in the beginning, right? So I think they're going to believe. I think they're going to have a little bit more structure. So I think they're going to be a better team. But let's if I have to put something out there, I'm going to say they're a 12-win team.
Yeah.
We're the fans, baby.
I was going to say that. I was going to say 11 or 12, but I think it'll be a better 11 or 12, because I think this time you have coaching involved, because we came out this past year, and it was basically, it's kind of like being a rookie. Like when you're a rookie, like my rookie year is like before they have you on tape, nobody knows what to expect, so you can just kick their ass. But then once you get into towards the middle to the end of the season, you're on tape and you're going to be playing better teams, and then it's up to you to be able to change. And our coaching staff wasn't able. They kept doing the same things over and over again. But I'm kind of laughing because I just talked to BG about this being his farewell tour, and he said he's just going to soak it all in and farewell tour because he wants his transition. He wants to make his transition to to doing stuff after football and stuff is because he's got like I was telling you earlier about the opportunity. They have classes now for life after football. To go through classes and some different types of structures, and he's been doing them. And I told him he was afforded that. I wasn't. I just was kind of like I took a year off to go to strip clubs and eat pizza and lay out by my pool. And I was the best, dude. It was like you. A lot of people think, and I think this was a lot of us when we were younger. I was like, man, when I'm done, I'm just gonna retire and I ain't gonna do jack shit. I ain't gonna. But in this game we call life, you have to have a purpose. You have to want to have something that you want to do and that you enjoy doing. And I told him he has to find that niche. I think Kelsey has to do the same thing because even though he's good at what he's doing, he's got to enjoy it. He's got to want to not only want to do it, but he's got to set some small goals for yourself. It's like because if you don't, you just find yourself like in a rut. It's just like you're just sitting there like, oh God, this totally sucks. And everybody else is envying you because you get to stay at home, but you're not doing nothing. It's like you should know when Scarfy or Lucy or the rest of the crew from Young and the Restless come on all the time. You should have to DVR your favorite shows so you can see them after the fact because you're out enjoying life. You're out soaking up life. And speaking of soaking up life, I got people. I sent our trip out. And people was like, "You got a direct flight?" It's like front Philly. I said, "Damn Skippy." Damn Skippy. So it's like that. And then some people are holding off because they're looking to see since we have a team that wins, we're going to be at prime time. So they say prime time schedule. You need days off from work. So I got a couple of ladies on there talking about the I sent them the package about the Brazil trip. And they was like, "Oh, it's tempting." It's like, but we got to see the rest of the schedule because primetime games mean days off work. So that's another thing too about our trip. I went off on a tangent about the guys about the guys because this is like one of the rare occasions where I played here 10 years, but these guys get to totally finish their career here. It's like that's kind of like unheard of in the new free agent world, and they did good at a high level. And the one thing I envy about Kelsey is that he got to walk away when he was ready. We still want him to play. He's playing at a high level. He's one of the best centers, if not the best center in the NFL this past season. And he's walking away now. He's walking away, not crawling away, not limping away, walking away. And I think with him doing that, I think had we still had Shane Steichen as our offensive coordinator, he would have played one more year. That's just my thoughts right there. Because you
got to install a new thing.
Yeah,
it's a good time to get out. New boss in town.
Yeah, and
he's also got a replacement that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And the funniest thing too, I love the way that he handled them, Cam Jurgens, because at least he didn't Brett Favre it up. I'm not here to teach nobody how to take my job. Yeah, you think that, but you're not supposed to say that out loud, Brett.
And they're deep. And they'll probably go interior line too. They're talking Runyon Jr. They have, Landon. They got Cam. They got Boys. They got like swing guys too, depth guys. If they bring, Driscoll back and stuff like. I'm a fan of his.
I got a question for you guys. So with us picking where we pick, I don't know if you guys watched the combine, but I like the kid Kenyon Mitchell. It's Kenyon Mitchell out of Toledo. I also like Brian Thomas Jr. and I like A.D. Mitchell. We don't have that speed guy, that third speed guy. Our third wide receiver has been an anomaly the past few years. Quez. We keep on thinking it's going to be Quez Watkins, but we don't have anybody to run those jet sweeps or anybody. I said this on my show, and me and Irvin was talking about this. We don't have that guy that when he comes out to the huddle, that the whole defense is like, damn, we got to keep our eye on him because he's a game breaker. Every other team, if you notice, every other team
Like
has
gadget.
that runs gadget plays, run the jet sweep, or you just have to keep an eye on him because if you take an eye off him, he gone. Or you don't. It's like we don't have that. We don't have that guy. It's
Yeah,
like
Howie always likes to build in the trenches, but Stout's been finding gems like in the late rounds, and they got all those comp picks. So like, I would risk it. I would gamble, play a little poker, get another weapon in there. Why not?
Yeah,
They'll figure out the line play. They'll figure it out with 1 year deals and
running back.
picks.
Isn't there a running back that's a weapon right now that they could get?
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley.
Hey, you know, I don't know if you guys heard goofy ass Tiki Barber.
I did.
I was like, the
crazy.
Giants don't even like you, Tiki, because you're the one who said that Eli couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And Eli, that guys, you heard Eli's rap on the cipher, did you?
No.
When he said when he said Tom Brady, they say he to go. Psych! I beat him twice.
This is a funny one here. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Where is it?
Going to play for that team in Philadelphia is insulting to his Giant history and legacy.
First of all, Tiki, screw you. Second of all, what Giant history and legacy are you talking about? You guys took a certified superstar in Saquon Barkley and made his career a footnote in the failed experiment that is Daniel Jones. What the hell are you talking about with legacy? The poor guy's only had one winning season with the New York Giants since he was drafted in 2018. You guys abuse Saquon. You tried to take all the tread off his tires to overcompensate for the fact that your quarterback, your offensive line, and your team in general sucked.
Thank you.
There you go.
Damn, Mike
That's
drop.
what I'm talking
We
about.
love it.
Yeah, because it's like that was when I listened to Tiki Barber, I was like, seriously? I was like, you sucked. And you cheated on your wife with it while she was pregnant with twins with one of the interns at Fox. Oh, sorry, deepest apologies.
All right.
Allegedly.
Family show. Family show.
Family show.
I like no,
Allegedly.
hey.
I'm just letting you know what type of stuff.
This is me. We gotta chop it up more often. We gotta go to some of these other things, non-Philly things. We gotta go down to Kentucky Derby, do a little gambling.
Oh,
Can I step in here? Hollis and I are going on a trip this week.
yes.
We're going to spring training, guys.
Spring
We're going
training,
down
baby.
with 300 Phillies fans to Clearwater Beach.
I got my St. Patrick's Day shirts already. I got me a green Mike Schmidt jersey, and if I run into Michael Jack, I'm gonna get him to sign it and never wear it again.
Love it.
I've never been, and I went to the Tampa trip. I went to the Tampa trip, and my buddy's got houses down in St. Pete. I'm looking for like a little beater house that I could just Airbnb or like a shack. I could stay there a couple weeks and rent it out the rest of the year or something like that. I'm trying to get down there. I love it there, man.
Yo, it's like you got to come with Philly Sports Trips. We do it. I went for the first time last year for the 3-day trip. It was great, man. It was like we had our events at the Cocoa. What's the name of the bar?
Coco's Crush
Coco's.
Bar.
Cocoa Crush Spot. And the Cocoa Crushes are delicious. I drunk 6 one day. I don't know what I was thinking. But having it, and then the only good part is when we were watching one of the games down there at the Cocoa, at the one downtown, the Cocoa Loco, and a Dallas fan came by. Don't ask me why they came by taking pictures of sights unseen, and she just told us, "Oh, I'm a Cowboy fan." And everybody's like, "Oh, nobody even asked you." And remind me to send you guys this video of this Dallas Cowboy fan who actually named their child Dallas Cowboy. Now, the kid was crying because he's being teased at school because of his name. And his dad was crying because he's getting teased. He say, one day, they'll know why your name is Dallas Cowboy. One day. I was like, good luck with that. Been saying that for like the last 30-some years.
That's sad.
And the kid is only 8. I was like, oh.
That's
Not
rough.
right. It's bad parenthood, right?
Yes,
Or parenting.
very bad parenting.
My guys, yo, do you guys have any last words or any words of wisdom for us? That again, this is Philly Sports Trips with us, and we travel with them all the time. Again, I encourage anyone listening, if you missed any of this, this will be on our YouTube, Facebook, anywhere you get your podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. We'll be sharing clips and stuff from it with some of the info and the itinerary. Do you have any words of wisdom for the Eagles fans out there? Not just Eagles fans, all Philly fans, because it's not just Eagles trips. They're going down to spring training. I just came back from the not the Winter Classic, Stadium Series.
Yeah, well, I have some words.
Any last word?
I have some words with PhillySportsShips.com or travelfans.com.
Travel with the pros.
True fan travel.
True fans
travel.
TrueFansTravel.com and PhillySportsShirts.com to get some Philly sports shirts gear. That's what my words with. So go on there and book a trip with us and come and see how true fans really travel. It's a first class organization. We lay out the red carpet, so to speak, but it's green. But we do some of the best trips known to man. And if you have never experienced an away game with a Philly sports team, I suggest you go on Philly Sports Trips and do one and do one of their other trips as well, because the other trips are pretty awesome too.
Kentucky Derby.
The Kentucky Derby.
That's just non-Philly. That's just a party.
Trust me.
I'm pushing Vince to do like waste management. I love Scottsdale, man. I'm like, Vince, you gotta start getting in the golf game too.
We're gonna be in New Orleans though for the Super Bowl this year during waste management. So let's one trip at a time.
Oh, it's the same. Oh, it's the same time.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll do a combo live from Arizona to New Orleans. But
anyway, you see Philly Sports Trip, go and take a gander and see how we're having a good time and you want to join in.
There's a lot of reasons to hang out with us this year, but one of them is on this call, Mr. Hollis Thomas. Like words of wisdom, half of the show has been words of wisdom. So it's so cool that you get to be with a legend all the time. I don't take it for granted. I get to travel with him every week. But I also want to thank you guys, the content that you guys put out there, the service that you do for the Phillies fans or the Philly fans is amazing. So thank you guys for everything you do. And I'm just looking forward to what's next. There's just every day there's something else in Philly sports. And I wanted to invite you guys also to the home opener tailgate. It's not official yet, but we're running a banger on March 28th. So if you guys are around, want to come up to the home opener, I even got you guys a couple tickets to the game. So
it's going to be awesome.
For everything.
All right. Let's go.
Go Birds.
All right, guys. Yo, thanks so much for the time. We'll catch you. And
Thanks,
see you
See you
soon.
in a few weeks. Bye, guys.
Go Birds!
Go Birds.
Go Birds.